How are you going?
It's good. It's good. How are you?
Super, super good.
Patrice, thank you so much for chatting with me. I really appreciate the time. Uh, La Belle Journée is a fascinating film. It truly is from start to finish. I'm wondering, from your perspective, or from you, what inspired this particular story?
Um, we would like to, we know that we would film with a cell phone
Mm.
before there's a story. We were really in the desperate mode. It's way before the decline with Netflix. So Guillaume and I were really desperate because we asked, how we ask a lot of SODEC grant, and we got a lot of refuse about other projects. So we were in the mood that we just didn't want to wait about any subvention grant, any government help. So I told him what if we could make a future film this summer with we didn't have any camera, but we heard Soderbergh and Sean Baker have made Tangerine with the cell phone. So I just told him, hey, this summer we should make a film with my cell phone. We know that there's others that made it, so it's not a complete stupid idea. So after that we concept and we write a story that will be how to say that's gonna take the advantage of a cell phone. So we know that with a cell phone, we would do the stealth. So we could like run in the subway. We could anything we can do with a real camera with a cell phone. You can do it. Like just ask. We don't ask any permission. We go in the subway. Because we don't look like a real filmmaker crew. We look like a creator, YouTube creator. So and after that, my starting point was I was really concerned about all the realizations concept. It's practically when you feel like Neo in the Matrix, but in the real world, and you think I'm probably Neo in the Matrix. So it was the starting point, and after that we just we write the film in Canva, and we didn't write a whole script. We write like during a week, and after this week we shot what we wrote, and we edit it, we look at it, and we rewrite it. And there was a cyclical workflow that's we go as along during the project. That's all the basic, like the starting point for this film.
That is fascinating to me. So this this project sort of developed as it was being shot. Is that what you're saying? Like you would shoot for a week and say, I don't really like where this is going, and then pick it up from there. Was that the process?
Yeah, completely. We didn't know how it's gonna end, and I think when we shot the hand shot, we realized that will be the hand shot. But before that, we didn't know that will be the hand shot. We thinking, maybe we can shot other things. But when we saw this shot, the bridge shot with the bike, it just told us, hey, I think it's the end shot. So yeah, it's really evolutive, very like we didn't expect, and we it's part of improv. There's with the actors, sometimes we give the dialogue, but there's a lot of them who just improv.
This film feels fluid. It's almost poetic in a number of ways that it sort of unrolls. But this is a pretty big topic, even for the way you're describing it. And I mean, how it's sort of unraveled. This is the idea of the simulation theory is that's a very complex topic, but it works the way you're doing it. So, but I thought I'd ask, like, why is it that you think we're so obsessed with this simulation concept? Why is it still here?
Yeah, I think it's a way for us to explain the irrational world that we live in. It's I think it's kind of urban legend. For me, it's a technological way to explain really the irrational world that we live. All that happened after, before the COVID, but even, and it was weird because we shot the film before COVID, and that's the way the world progressed. Was very in the same minding. We were really surprised about all the COVID and the self isolations, and that was even that was not even in our mind that we gonna live COVID, that because we shot the film in 2018, so it was way before COVID, and that's pretty weird how the how the situations like mm, I get a wrong word in English, but I'm gonna say it in French. Is rattraper. It's like also, it's I'm sorry about my rusty English. Uh, like it was we in the film we were talking about conspiracy way before conspiracy like appear in the ground, as it was really underground internet, kind of niche, uh, and during the COVID is this all these conspiracies bringing up front, and and I think it's a part of distrust about society and government, and probably it's like we've been lied about like the world, and not sure. I think I'm losing my mind path, but I hope you understand a little bit what I would like to express.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I mean, it's interesting that you say you shot this before COVID because you're right. COVID has given us more conversations about these sorts of things. As we talk about, being lied to or whatnot, all these things going around. Um, but again, this film, it's got such a philosophical heart, which I love. I connect deeply with those sorts of things. And one of the questions that comes up, and I thought, with since we're talking about the simulation and all this, but you bring up the idea of everything happening for a reason, and so here's my question to you: is do you believe that? Do you believe everything happens for a reason?
Hmm. It's a hard question to answer. Part of me thinks that there's things happen for a reason. But it is also a part of me would like to say it's the world itself. It's so like it's it's very complicated to for me to answer that in English because it's very philosophical, and I'm not, and I would like not, and I doesn't want to say you stupid things, uh, but There's a part of me who think we probably live in a conspiracy world. It's very personal for me to think about that, but there's also a rational way to think that it's not anything it's writing. It's not like we don't live in a fatalist world that everything is writing. It's already wrote. It's already is, yeah. So it's sometimes I'm thinking about, yeah, and but after that there's all the rational things that I'm not like. It's it's probably not, but I'm like kind of agnostic about that. It's like, as long as I didn't know, the mystery of life is so weird, and there's so much thing that happened to me that I think before, and it's manifest. Uh, and that's what I think. Maybe it's everything is already wrote, and it's very tough for me to explain in English. I'm sorry, and I would like to like deepen the philosophical things, but I think I'm gonna be lost in translation in my when if I explain it to you. But I think it's a really young Carl Jung who said everything is roted, and when we live hard times, or we live a big trauma, we can see a past and we see the future. And it's happened to me one times. My mom's get really sick, and just before that she gets sick, I think my mom is sick, and the second after I receive a phone call would say, yeah, your mom is going to hospital, and she was in complete she was very healthy, and as soon as I get a phone, I know there's something wrong happened. And that's some of the things that make me feel like we maybe live in a world that is already written. But it's well,
One of the things I love about this film is it's sort of asking questions. It's not, it because it feels like it's sort of flowing almost randomly, but then there's these conversations of what's is it, along the way. I think that's really well done. I have to ask you about plants, uh, because the relationship with plant life in this film is fascinating, and I was wondering what inspired that and what that means to you.
um first of all, I got a roommate who was really into plants. There's a time in my life was plants everywhere, and he taking bath with his plant, and I feel like very very quite fascinating about that. And after that, I think it's very like, for me to Jérémie to get this relation with plants. I think it's kind of funny because like the moment he's watching a YouTube documentary video about how plants talk,
Yeah.
how the plants talk to each other. And he doesn't know himself to talk to anyone, and he learned that plants have to can communicate, communicate with others. And that's filming like very like, it's funny, and it's not funny like, but ironic. That's he can't like communicate with anyone, and he learned that plants could communicate with each others. And that's how the things how the things fold in my mind, unfold in my mind. Um, yeah, and I really inspired by my roommate, who's very passionate with plants and all the thing. And it's a kind of homage to Léon de Professionnel. who is very like he linked to one plant, and that's kind of my homage to Leon. But the plants get like, yeah, the plants appear in the script like this.
I won't ask you if your roommate bathes with the plants. We won't. I
He,
won't ask you.
he's not baiting with, but he's take like he bait the plants, and during doing that, the door was closed, so it's kind of maybe he doing not probably not like this, but I feel like very not funny, but it's like if, yeah, it's a weird thing to to bat himself with plant.
Yes, well, absolutely. I have. I know we're starting to run out of time. Forgive me. This is where my mind goes with the film, and I know
Oh,
that this is a difficult question. This is a difficult question, and could be hard to answer even in translation. If the simulation, let's just take for example that the simulation theory is accurate,
yeah.
as we see with this character as he's moving through his life. The question I have is, do you think that his life or life is meaningless? If it's just this computer simulation moving along and he's just sort of ebbing and flowing as the film goes on, is it meaningless?
It's a very difficult question. Life is part of meaningless, and I think we, as human, we really make sense. But as when we like study historical events, like natural historical event, that Earth was froze, Earth was not froze, and probably like Venus was very near, like very Earth-like, like the other, like, and before the volcanoes, like there's, I, I think the world is meaningless, but as a human, we would like to make sense, and probably there is a sense who we could not understand. Probably we missed something, and that we cannot understand right now. Maybe we will understand it eventually. I think there's something, but there's a big part of me who thinks probably life is meaningless, and it's sad because we will like to make sense, and why we there, why we, so we try to make sense about everything, uh, about these things. But yeah, difficult question, and it's the end of the day. I am sometimes I'm thinking we're really meaningless, and the other time think no, we're there for a purpose, and we're there for helping other. We're there for compassion. But as we see the world how we go, it's very frightening, because all the climatic change and everything, like, and so it's a, yeah, big question. I hope I answered
You did.
well.
That was wonderful, and I appreciate. I know it's a difficult question, and honestly, it's one that everyone has an issue. Everyone would have an issue difficult. I would find difficulty answering it. But that's what I mean. This film engages these questions in such beautiful ways, and I truly appreciate your honesty, your openness, Patrice. I really do. And I thank you so much for your time chatting, and I wish you the best with the film. It's a beautiful piece.
Thanks, Steve. Thanks, Steve, and thanks for all this conversation, and to cover the films itself. It's very a pleasure to talk about this morning.
Thanks so much. Have a great day.
Don't worry, like you never